Alright, what is up? So, last night I decided that we were going to play through Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, and do a zero death run and try to go through the entire game with no deaths. And I thought, why not? Let's just stream the whole thing. The problem is that my recordings got messed up, my stream didn't really work all that well, and I died about 30 minutes into the run. So I said, we're done for tonight. We're just going to go ahead and cancel it. And I'm going to hope that today I can get a little bit further, the audio is a little bit better, and we'll just try this again from the beginning. We're going to act like this is the first time. So, what is up? I recently played through Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, for the first time in a little while. I play it pretty regularly. It's one of those games that I loved as a kid. It's so easy to pick up and play. It's just fun to play through. It's like one of those comfort food games for me. So I decided I wanted to go through again. I want to beat the entire game. Not only beat it, but beat it without dying. So my entire goal in this is to do a zero death run of Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy. And if it goes well, maybe I'll stream playing Jak 2 as well. I'm using Open Goal, the brand new project that, I guess it's not brand new anymore, but it's still pretty new.
This device is a communicator. With it, my father and I can give you advice at any time
Sorry, we can't
during your
skip the
quest.
audio portion, so I'll just talk
These
around
floating
those.
egg-shaped things are precursor orbs. Collect enough of them, and some of the villagers will give you a power cell in exchange.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, Open Goal is a project from the fan base. Some passionate fans have essentially figured out the language that Naughty Dog made in-house to create this game and to do all their testing and their programming.
Cell, the most important precursor artifact you can find. You need to collect 20 of these so I can power the heat shield for your A-Grav zoomer.
Naughty Dog developed their own language to make the Jak games. Jak and Daxter, Jak 2, Jak 3, and Jak X, I believe, are the ones that are in this engine. There's some speculation that Ratchet and Clank was done in the same engine, but it was not. Or the same language, I mean. The language they made was Goal, G-O-A-L, and Open Goal, Open, G-O-A-L. It's a project of people that are coming together to to remake them. They're making them run natively on PCs. They figured out the language, they're going through the source code, and they're essentially rebuilding these games to run natively on your PC. It's not a port, it's a native game. That's so cool to me. And just the passion involved in that. Alright, I'm going to grab this power cell, so we're going to stop talking for just a minute. Alright, again, what I'm doing is I'm going to go through and I'm going to do a no-death run of Jak and Daxter's Precursor Legacy.
You found one of my scout flies. I sent 7 of them to each area to look for power cells, but the lurkers must have captured them all.
Again, I've played this game a lot. I know it very well. I'm not going to pretend like, oh no, I'm discovering this for the first time. But I will say I just enjoy it a lot. It's fun to go through, and I don't think I've ever finished it completely with zero deaths.
That last scout fly had a power cell. I'll bet if you collect all 7 in each area, you can find even more power cells.
I will be skipping all cutscenes, and where possible,
Blue Eco, which contains the energy of motion.
I'm gonna
Blue Eco allows
just try to
you
go through as
run
quick as
fast,
possible.
break boxes,
If you're here for the
and
story,
even
this is probably
activate
not the
some
place for you.
precursor
I'm going to be skipping
artifacts
most of
when
it,
you
just
get
because,
near
again, I'm
them.
very familiar with it. And after this first tutorial level, those those audio cut-ins, the little tutorial advice that they give out goes away quite a bit, so I'm probably not going to turn that off if that's possible. Regardless, I'm probably not going to do that just because it's not an issue later on.
How each blue eco cluster you pick
But we'll
up
see. If it becomes an issue, I
increases
can
the time
work
you
around
use its
that.
power.
Like I said, I tried to do this last night. I streamed for about half an hour. For some reason, it broke up my videos into like 30-second chunks on Twitch. I don't know what caused that. I'm hoping to not run into that issue again tonight. I also had, I think my audio was probably duplicated, so I probably had an echo on my mic. Hopefully that's not happening tonight. But we'll see. I'm new to streaming. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to figure it out on the fly.
This is a precursor door. It can only be opened by approaching the door while channeling blue eco through your body.
Yeah, I'm mainly doing this again just because, just like the folks over at Open Goal, I just love these games. It's so fun for me. This is an excuse for me to revisit again, honestly, so I'm gonna keep streaming this. I have streamed in the past, but I streamed something completely different. I was streaming coding challenges. I would do code wars for JavaScript, learning web development, and talking through those problems helps me out, and maybe it would help out someone else, so I was streaming through those.
Blue eco caused the door to open.
So this is brand new for me. In fact,
I'll
I'll probably have to go look at how to change this later, but I'm probably still streaming in the, what is it, like the software development category? I forget what it's called on Twitch, but this is probably not even showing up under gaming, so I will have to figure out how to fix that later, but I just honestly am doing a proof of concept tonight, proving to myself that this will work, that I can stream, that it's going to go well. I am not going to stream for long tonight. I also haven't done this. When I first tried doing this on Open Goal,
you can jump once.
Earlier this year, probably,
to reach even higher ledges.
I downloaded the HD texture pack from somebody. I forget their name. I'll look it up and they're in a later stream. I'll give them a shout out because their HD textures look amazing. It just makes the game look so much more crisp. Quite a bit more modern, and honestly, every time I come back to this game, I am surprised by how well it holds up. Like, yeah, there's some things where it shows its age. The warp gates are kind of clunky, and the dialogue is cheesy, and it's definitely a early 2000s era feel to it. The platformer collectathon thing, that genre's pretty much gone these days from what I know of. I mean, there's some smaller titles, mostly indie games, but AAA developers don't really make them anymore. If they do, they're not popular, and that's fine. Like, the industry moves on. But this genre and this specific game will always have a special place in my heart, so I'm going to keep coming back to it. But again, those HD textures that you can apply to this game on this Open Goal version just looks so good.
Did you see the size of the bite?
I'm a little bit sad that I didn't put them on yet, because it just makes the village look nicer, it makes everything look nicer, so I will probably go find those again and download them and get them all applied to the game so it looks a little better.
It looks like scout flies are always in red boxes.
This guy's so funny.
Well, hello there, my dear boy.
I know I'm not going through this story tonight, but I just wanted to shout out that this is your uncle. I believe it even says it in like the menu. Yeah, bring 90 orbs to your uncle, and he plays a zero part in any future games. If you know anything about Jack and Daxter to Jack 2 and Jack 3, there's a pretty big shift, and it becomes pretty clear that he in no way is likely Jack's uncle. They basically just retconned him out of existence as far as I know. I don't know, maybe there's some deeper lore explanation. Maybe he really is his uncle, but seems unlikely given how the plot develops across the 3 games. Yeah, it's just funny to me that they took this game, and I imagine it was probably originally meant to be just a standalone game, I think it was one of the early titles for the PS2. It might not have been a pack-in title, so to speak, but it was, I think, one of their like flagship early PS2 titles. I know it was probably the first game I played on PS2 when I was a kid, so probably part of why it has a special place in my heart. But yeah, it's probably just one of those things where they threw it in there because it was fun, and it's a fun, campy kids game, basically. You know, maybe a little bit older kids. You think like 10 to 12-year-olds, I would guess, would probably be around the right age.
I'll bet we can get this open if you power up with that zappy blue eco stuff.
And then when they decided they wanted to take a turn and do a different style game for Jak 2 and Jak 3, it just wasn't worth the effort to try to combine them back in and do all that. So I have no problem. It's just funny to me going back to this game now and knowing, like, oh yeah, Jak has family here that doesn't really make sense for him to have in my mind. It's just funny to me. Like I said, when I tried to do this yesterday, pretty much everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And that includes my lack of gaming prowess. Again, I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it through a no-death run. Well, that's not true. I can do it. It's just a matter of how long is it going to take me to do it. Maybe I'll be doing this for the next year, just endlessly replaying Jak and Daxter until I can get through with no deaths, because for all my confidence that I'd be able to do it, last night I made it as far as the Forbidden Jungle, which is the level right over there. Died to the plant boss thing in that level in the temple. If you played before, you know it's a pretty standard platformer boss, very simple patterns, very telegraphed moves, and it shouldn't be that hard, to be honest, but I just, you know, I probably got overconfident, and by the time I got to him, I only had, I think, one hit left, and he killed me. And so I died, the run was over, and I called it a night. I don't think I'll even make it that far tonight, to be honest. I might just finish up Sandover Village and call it a night, because it's pretty late already. It is Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Whatever. Yeah, so I'll probably be going to bed here pretty soon. It's pretty late. Had an early morning with the kids. Had a late night last night getting Christmas set up for the kids, and yeah, I'm gonna go to bed here pretty soon. So just want to get a little bit of gaming in. I was already down here working on some other work for myself.
That lazy farmer owes us a power
Thought
cell.
I might as well stream some Jak and Daxter and just have some fun. It is funny to me. I had mentioned this yesterday as well. I guess I'll probably go through most of this again. Fortunately, it should only affect 1 or 2 streams at most. But you see the Fire Canyon pops up, but those precursor orbs are still part of Sandover Village, because just at this point, they didn't. Things weren't quite as strict, I guess. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just funny to me that you can be collecting orbs in one area and have the title for another area be popping up as you're moving through them. It just seems like there aren't exactly
Check out that funky
super
sculpture
clear
sitting on rocks over there.
boundaries between the areas. Yeah. I love that those precursor
We've
orbs,
scrounged
not
enough
orbs,
orbs to trade for a power cell. Let's get back and make the switch already.
the precursor statues. They're just so silly to me. They're like so stereotypical. Oh, ancient technology that's so serious and great. And I think the developers knew exactly what they were doing, and they made it that way on purpose. I just love their voice, their deep, gravelly voice. The ancients have looked. That was so bad.
All
Man,
right.
I did a
You
much better
found
impression
all
last
the
night,
scout
but we'll see.
flies in this area.
Maybe I'll get better again sometime. I can't do it tonight, though.
Who awakens the oracle? Wait.
This must be a precursor oracle like the
Oracle.
sage always
Precursor
goes on
oracle, not
about.
precursor
I hope
statue.
they weren't as ugly in person.
Alright, what am I missing? Sandover Village, I've got the scout flies. It's just paying people, and I gotta go back to the farm. Let's see.
Oh,
Well done, my boy! Alright, we're gonna go ahead and, I lied. I'm not gonna just do Sandover Village. What I will do is start the Forbidden Jungle. I do the same way every game. It is, in my opinion, the right order to go through the games, no matter what missions you come to first or anything. But it makes sense to me. I go Forbidden Jungle first every time. I want to minimize the amount of backtracking necessary when I play games. I know that's the whole thing, Metroidvanias, exploration and yada yada, and backtracking to unlock new things is an integral part of some gameplay, and some games do it really well. But I'm just not a fan. I want to go through an area and get everything I can, and then move on. And as far as I can remember, I think there's only one situation where you need to backtrack in this game. I believe the only time you need to do it is after you defeat the second boss. Run up there from the second, I guess, hub world, the second village that you're at, to the third. There is one power cell you cannot get because the eco vents that you need to get it are not open until the third hub world. You unlock them in one of the side worlds, I guess, from the third hub world, the third village, which is the Red Sage's hut in a volcano. This is so late 90s, early 2000s video game design. I love it. The volcano level, it just, you've got a snowy region and a watery region and a volcano. You gotta have a volcano. It's just the coolest place to be. So, we'll get there. We'll definitely get there. I'm confident that I will be able to get at least that far, if not on the first or second attempt, eventually. I am decently good at the game, if for no other reason than because I've played it too much. I have a backlog of games that I want to play and that I should play and that are classic great games that I've never touched. I personally have promised somebody that I would play Persona 5, and I still haven't touched that either. There's just so many games that I know I would enjoy. I don't play them. I go back to games that I've loved, and I consistently replay them over and over and over again. I honestly, I don't think I can count the number of times that I have 100% completed Jak and Daxter the Precursion Pass. I've finished Jak 2 and Jak 3 slightly fewer times than I've done Jak and Daxter, just because they take slightly longer to finish, and I don't have all that much time. I've got young kids, I've got other things that I'm working on, and it's just not a priority for me, so I'll play what I want to, and I'll have fun doing it. But yeah, this is the first time I've ever streamed gaming, so this is a new one for me as well. Hopefully it's entertaining for me, if no one else. And yeah, I recognize I'm not going through this level in the optimal path. Like I could probably do this faster or easier, but to be honest, I'm just kind of wandering around, picking up precursor orbs, and working my way towards that temple where I can take out that plant and get rid of all these spiky tendrils throughout the world. Yeah, I'll probably do that first in this level, just because I can get it out of the way. I'll go do that. I'll go take on the plant boss. Again, I will freely admit this is the one where I died yesterday, facing this specific boss that I'm going to go face right now. So if I make it to today, you'll at least know that I'm doing better today, which shouldn't be a high bar. It was a pretty bad one yesterday, but, you know, it's supposed to be fun. We'll have fun. Man, I don't know if it's just effective product marketing, or if I just just gotten older and not as, I don't know, not really delicate way to put it, but just gotten older and grosser as a human being. But I've noticed my glasses slipping on the bridge of my nose a lot more lately. And you know, coincidentally, it's after I almost died right there. Terrible. Marketing for a product called Nerd Wax, which is, I guess, supposed to help your glasses have a little more friction and stay on your nose a little better. And I'm like, man, maybe I need to buy that stuff. I don't know. It's one of those things where it probably will help, but it's also, is it gonna be worth the added schmoo you put on your glasses and on your face? Like, I should probably just look into proper facial skincare and like figure out how to make my face less oily. This is a great conversation for a live stream, especially my first gaming live stream. We're
Yeah,
talk
so we
about
got a
my
precursor
oily
launcher
skin
here,
face.
but you aren't powered up with the blue stuff.
My
So
oily
it ain't
face
gonna help
skin.
us.
I can talk well. But hey, you know, again, I don't really expect anyone, or at least many people, at all to watch the stream or any of the replays or anything like that, so I'm mostly just talking to fill air. I have been going through some role changes in my personal life. I quit my job, my wife started a small business, and it's going very well, but that meant that she had been stay-at-home mom for our kids, and she is no longer doing that. She is now the breadwinner, and I am the stay-at-home dad, and it's been really nice. It's been really good to spend more time with the kids.
Wow, did you see that?
It's been really
Blue
good
eco-vents have been
to...
activated all over the world.
Man, the one thing that I want to figure out with this open goal thing is if I touch anything that isn't this window, it just goes away. It not even if something is over it, it will minimize itself if I click anywhere outside the window, and that is frustrating because if I want to adjust volume levels or anything like that, I don't know how to do that without minimizing the game window, which I don't really want to do. So I'll have to look into that and see if there's something I can do to maybe fix that, because it would be nice to adjust the levels on the fly a little bit better. But that's a problem for future Nate, not tonight, Nate. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I'm stay-at-home dad. It's been great, but I didn't realize how much I relied on having other people to just casually talk to at work, even if it's remotely, just people to casually chat with. I mean, I hate to be that guy, that old boomer guy, but like honestly, like we are pretty socially isolated these days from each other, and it's hard. I think that we, especially millennials and Gen Z, younger people, tend to think that like we tend to enjoy our space and tend to like not having to be in the office and not having to be around people that we don't want to be around, but also like humans are social creatures, and that has been made very apparent to me lately when I have more limited social interaction. And honestly, like I could use other people to talk to, and this is again probably too much to share on stream, but honestly that's just gonna be how I am. I'm prone to oversharing. So hopefully somebody enjoys that. Hopefully somebody wants to hear somebody just ramble, basically, because it's just a nice way to talk, to get some thoughts out while having a fun time playing a game. Kind of reminds me of, you know, being a kid, having fun at a friend's house and having a friend over at my house and just chatting while we play games together. So I guess that's it's part of my reason for being here. Oh, and just in case any of you happen to miss that, that was the very same boss who ended my no-death run yesterday. So, at the very least, I can say that today is going better than yesterday. And isn't that just the general goal? If we could have every day be better than yesterday, that would be ideal. I think as human beings, it's not going to work that way. We're going to have bad days and good days, and they're not linear. They're not necessarily predictable. But I'm also trying to create some new habits and hopefully help make it so that there's more good days than bad days. It's one of those things that I think we all want to work on, but right now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to focus on playing a fun video game. I think sometimes that's all you need. Just take some time and enjoy simple things in life. I've tried to get one of my kids into playing Jak and Daxter. He played for a few minutes, and he enjoyed it, but it's never going to be, his favorite. There's so many other things that are just yelling for people's attention these days. It's hard when they don't have specific, attention-grabbing things built in. Not that Jak and Daxter doesn't. I mean, it's a collectathon. It's literally trying to give your brain dopamine by giving it things. It's like, oh, find the thing, get the thing. Instant satisfaction, instant reward. It's probably part of why it's a comfort game for me. But, nowadays you get new skins you can buy all the time, and mods and add-ons, and your game changes every day. So there's always something new, Minecraft or Roblox or whatever. And I'm not even saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that, back in my day things were better. It's just different. It's a lot of a different feel for me, and I do think it's going to be interesting to watch the game market develop and grow and see where things go. As much as part of me wants my kids to like the same games I did, I think that also might just be maybe a bad thing for society in general. If we want things to stay the same generation to generation, we want to have people watch the same movies. And I mean, God, how many Star Wars are we at now? And nothing against Star Wars. I love Star Wars. But it was a great, groundbreaking movie when it came out in the 70s. And then they had an idea to expand it, and they did the prequels, and you know what, honestly, I like the prequels. They hit me in the right spot. I was the right age for them. They were enjoyable to me. I remember going to the theater to see The Phantom Menace with my dad and just having a blast with him and just really enjoying being there together. And now as I look over, I probably took the desktop audio too far down. I don't know if anybody can hear anything going on with the game, so I'm going to try to adjust that real quick. And again, as soon as I click that, the game's going to go away, so you get to see my lovely background. I'll fix that in just a moment. Alright, I guess I will finish up Forbidden Jungle tonight. I don't think I have that much left to go. I've got connect the eco beams and the fisherman. I gotta go to the fisherman's challenge. I'm pretty sure that's the other power cell. I already got the precursor orbs, right? That's one thing I like. You can check your progress. All the precursor orbs, all the scout flies. So just go connect the beams, which I should. Again, if I'm doing an efficient playthrough, I probably should have done earlier so I could collect things while I'm connecting the beams and minimize my backtracking within the level. But yeah, honestly, I don't mind within a level too much. It's just I don't super enjoy it when a game's like, oh, you can see these things that you can get, you can find these collectibles, but you can't get them yet because there's some arbitrary gate that we have to set up to make sure you have to come back here. And again, this game is by no means a bad offender in that regard. You have to backtrack once that I know of, that I can recall right now. And I say that having just finished this literally 3 nights ago. I finished another 100% completion run of Jak and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy. So I'm relatively confident that's the only time you need to backtrack, because I just did it. Now watch, later in the stream I'm going to have to eat my words, but I don't recall any other times. Let's see. Fisherman's down there. I'll do that before I go up. Wrong button. I know how to play. This is actually kind of a tricky minigame. I'm not counting this as a death if I fail on the first time. I very rarely fail this one these days. But it's possible. And again, I'm not counting it as a death. It's a minigame. And I can take multiple attempts on minigames. This is my own personal rules for my own challenge that I've set. I'm not VG Myths. I'm gonna be a little bit loose on my rules here. I'm not going for a world record or anything. I'm not speed running the game. I'm just playing through and trying not to die. But yeah, I remember as a kid, this was one of the hardest parts of the game for me. It was just, it's such kind of an intense speed at times, and the controls are just, I don't know, I guess I would describe them as kind of floaty when you move the net. It's hard to be precise. You can't use the D-pad, which I typically like to try to be a little more precise with things like this. You gotta use the, I call it a joystick. What is it? An analog stick, a thumbstick, whatever it is. You got to use the stick. You can't use a D-pad, so it's hard to be very precise. And I was talking, so I missed some fish. But I think I have a... I was going to say I have a good chance of getting it, but no, I got myself stuck in a corner. Alright. Gonna play again. Again, that doesn't count as a run ender, but it is frustrating. Again, like I said, most times lately I've been able to do this on my first try. But yeah, I'm distracting myself. I'm talking to the camera while I'm trying to do the fish. I'm also using a controller that I'm not super used to. That's not really an excuse. It's not that different. That was mainly just because I distracted myself. But it's all good. We're going to play through. We're going to get the fish this time. I'm feeling good about this run. If you aren't familiar with the story of Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, Daxter, the little orange furry guy on the side, was a relatively humanoid creature like like Jak, and he got turned into this little orange weasel otter mix called an otzel by falling into a big pit of dark eco, the game's mystical magical power source, on Misty Island. And part of why we have to do this fishing minigame is because an entire level, Misty Island, is locked behind finishing this minigame. I will say there have been times when I tried to go through the game and I completely forget that Misty Island is even a place you can go, and I've gone on to the second or third world before I realize I missed an entire level. It's just that kind of a game, and again, because I am a completionist, I like to fully complete the game. By that point in time, by the time that I would normally do Misty Island, because it's after Forbidden Jungle, I have enough power cells and precursor orbs that I can just move on, and it's not an issue. It doesn't bar my progression at all, because you do have caps. You know, you have to have so many power cells before you can move on to the next hub world. But again, I try to get everyone in every level that I go to, so I can skip an entire level and keep moving on, which is fine. But again, when I want to fully complete things, it does make it a little bit tricky, because you can just skip an entire level and it doesn't stop you. So yeah, okay, yep, last one is just connect that beam. I think I'm going to connect that, go back to the village and trade in as many precursor orbs for power cells as I can, and once I've done that, then I'm going to sign off for the night, and we'll pick it up again, if not tomorrow, then soon. Oh, that's another thing I love about this game, and we'll get to it tomorrow, but it just fills so many of the old video game tropes and stereotypes, whatever you want to call them, I just love it. It's just like classic, nostalgic video game for me. It's easy to pick up, easy to put down. You can save, and you can just kind of breeze through it without having to think too much about it, not struggle, which is really funny. If you ask my wife, my favorite games are probably ones that I have to struggle through. I love the Dark Souls series. I love, I guess, Soulsborne in general. In fact, my favorite of the Soulsborne is probably Bloodborne. Love that game. So fun. But yeah, that's kind of the exact opposite of what I'm describing here. It's not a game you can just sit back and play on autopilot. You will struggle. You have to beat your head against the wall for a while. And don't tell me get good. I am not going to get good. I just plow through on sheer determination, not skill. If I enjoy streaming through this, maybe I'll stream through Bloodborne. That's been another thing I've thought about doing several times. That's going to be harder. I have to figure out if I'm going to do it through a PS5 or... I don't know how I'm going to stream that one, because my PS5 is in my bedroom, which will not be possible to stream in because that's where my wife sleeps. Maybe I'll move it down here at some point. I don't know. I have a nice closed off room here. The audio is probably not great. You're probably getting a lot of background from my HVAC system, but it is what it is. It's the best I'm going to do right now because this is a very niche hobby of mine. I enjoy streaming, mainly because it gives me something to talk to. That sounds really sad. I am not that sad. But yes, it is fun to just kind of get thoughts out. Yeah, what else? I've got the Precursor Oracle, and I'm not going to have enough orbs to do either one of those right now. I am going to call it here. I'm going to go ahead and save my game. I know it auto-saves, but I just don't trust autosave. Gonna go ahead and save the game. I'm gonna call tonight a success no matter what the audio quality looks like because I didn't die, so at least I can continue on from here. And with that, I will wish you all a Merry Christmas. I hope you have a great night and stay safe and stay warm.